So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. We gotta talk about that episode of The Last of Us. Oh my god. I wasn't gonna do these like review chat videos for the season. I was just gonna do one overall, which I probably still will do. There's been like a couple of episodes this season that have just blown me away. I want to start just by saying thank you guys so much for all the love on the videos. You guys have been really enjoying The Last of Us reactions, which it's nice as a content creator. It's really nice to have people be like, oh my god, I like your videos, or I think you're funny, or whatever it may be. It warms my little dead soul. I started off like all of this, like my channel and stuff, with making Walking Dead reaction videos. And there's always that little bit of like nervousness when you're dipping into another fandom, especially a fandom that's as big as The Last of Us, when it has, all these fans from the games, from the original source. So it's really nice. I'm having the morning from hell. But yeah, like I did reactions obviously for season 1 as well, and they were pretty warmly received. It's really nice. So if you've been watching along and you like my content, you're enjoying the videos, make sure you subscribe because it helps the channel. And it annoys me saying that because it pisses me off when other content creators say that. But it's funny just how often I get people going, I had no idea I wasn't subscribed to you. So I just thought I'd remind you. Yeah, my Twitter and Instagram, anyway, you can find me in the description down below. My band's Instagram, Lightarian, is linked down below. So if you want to follow me on socials, check the description. Let's talk about this episode. We got my guy back. We got Joel back for a whole episode. I just want to say I loved the whole cold open where we get Tommy and Joel's backstory. We see them as kids. We see them as... Were they kids or were they teens? They were young. Anyway, seeing Joel step up from that early of an age for Tommy, seeing him just like straight away be like, I'll take the fall. Whatever it was that happened, I think it was something with a weed deal or something. Seeing Joel just like jump in and be like, no, I'll take the fall, I'll take the blame. I don't know, it just put something about his character into perspective that just clicked. He's been doing this his whole life. The character that you see now, that you see deal with Ellie, deal with people around him, it all stems back to his childhood, and I think it made sense. And like, especially when you take into consideration the kind of character he is and the things that he does to survive and for the people that he loves to survive. Again, it stems back to that childhood story that we were shown where he's a victim of abuse. So he went into the apocalyptical world already knowing how to stand alone, how to stand on your own, how to fend for yourself in a way that people who aren't subjected to that sort of treatment as a child, you can't explain that to someone. And I think it puts small scenes into perspective as well. Like the scene in this episode that a lot of people have been talking about was when he walks in and Ellie and her girlfriend at the time, her name is escaping me. It's the scene. Ellie just got the tattoo. She's smoking a joint. Joel like flies off the handle and is like, everything all at once, sex, experimenting, drugs, tattoos. And I'm like, well, that just sounds like a good goddamn birthday to me, Joel. I found the way he responded to that it's funny. Not funny, haha, but funny like, okay. Because we see him be most confused probably about Ellie's sexuality, right? And it is because time for the characters that we see, stopped in, what was it, like 2003 or something? And we got a reference to that as well in an earlier scene, an earlier episode, where you have Dina and Ellie clippity-clop on their way through town. They're walking through town and they're like, what's with all the rainbow flags? Like, what's the deal here? And I think it's interesting to see like how the psyche and how people and society develops and developed in like an AU to us. That what if everything did stop in the early 2000s? What would have happened in terms of just existing? Not like in an apocalyptical sense. I mean like in a societal sense. But you can see Joel like baffled, and Ellie when she was like, this isn't an experiment, she's not an experiment. And then you see it later on as well in the episode where you can see him on the porch of the house when he's like, so is Dina your girlfriend? And he hits her with the gorgeous, she'd be lucky to have you. And I passed comment about that in my video. I was like, oh, the way he responded in Ellie's bedroom, I was like, Joel, that doesn't seem like very in character for you. And I got a comment where like someone flew off the handle and they were like, well, yes, society stopped in 2003 and all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I know. That's the thing with reaction videos. You can't like verbalize everything that comes into your mind. Otherwise you would be talking non-stop. And I already do talk non-stop in reactions. I get shit for that too. Because when I do a reaction video, you press play on the episode, you press record, and you just don't touch nothing. So my video, once I begin editing, is at like an hour long. I edit it down to about 45, 50 minutes for Patreon. And then I have to edit that down for YouTube. And you have to cut as much as you possibly can and try and make the content transformative, right? So God, like, please, I hope I'm not jinxing myself. But like, if something happens and you get copyrighted, you can argue it's transformative. I don't use the majority of the original works. The video is under 10 to 15 minutes, which I try to keep it, just to try and dance around fair use. And it's transformative. I'm talking, I'm yapping, I'm cracking jokes, I'm changing the original works. I'm not just like distributing the episode for free. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I know it seems like I'm like a fucking machine gun of words in videos. I'm just like blah, 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 blah. That it's edited that way. So because of that, I don't always get the time or the grace to like verbalize my feelings, which is why I think the style of video is... I probably should do this kind of style of video more for things that I really enjoy, like reviews or talking about certain episodes. Anyway, back to the episode. Back to Joel in particular, because he, that little beautiful bitch, he just stole my heart. He took it out of my chest, showed it to me, and then put it in his pocket this episode. All of the birthday scenes were just absolutely adorable and beautiful. But the scene where they're sitting inside the spaceship, inside the thing, and he's just like lying beside her looking at her, gives her the tape. It's when he turns his head away from her, you can see that he has a little tear coming down the side of his face. And I'm like, God, I'm not your strongest soldier, because Holy Mary, Mother of Jesus. I think that might be the first time in the entirety of the show that we've seen him cry from happiness. I mean, Joel is a character that, like, we know he's been through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. He's lost borderline everything you can lose. And it goes deeper than that as well. The fact that he lost a daughter already. He lost a child at the very beginning, at the offset of the apocalypse. The fact that he was able to have a second shot at being a parent, at being a dad, at having a child. There's this pressure on him to not fuck it up. Don't fuck up. Because he loves her so much and he cares about her so much. And I think that stems back as well to childhood. It stems back to Tommy and to the situation that the two boys grew up in with their father. Because, like, he keeps asking Ellie, like, are you happy? Did I do good? You never see Joel like that. Ever. He is like the embodiment of quiet and handsome and mysterious, whatever the fucking, what is it? What's the saying? I don't remember. He is just so standoffish and like, I don't give a fuck about everything. He's quiet, he keeps to himself, he's reserved. So seeing him be so fucking vulnerable with someone, seeing him be like, are you happy? Did I make you happy? He just wants assurance. He just wants to be told, yeah, you're doing good. Because it's just interesting seeing that again. I guess it's because it stems back to those childhood scenes where he obviously didn't get that from his dad. They didn't, it doesn't appear to me that Tommy and Joel were ever praised for doing good. They were just punished for being bad. So him seeking that from Ellie, oh, Joel Miller. Oh, Joel Miller. I also really, really loved the monologue scene where you see Ellie inside her room monologuing what she was going to say to Joel before, like, moving out. And then there was that whole scene in the bedroom where she's trying to move the mattress. And Joel kind of snaps. He does snap at her. Now, he is a dad. He's a parent. He's stressed. It's the middle of the night. You just had an argument with your kid on their birthday. He's grappling and struggling with the fact that she is growing up. She wants her own space. She's dating. She's doing all these things. And it's like, that's scary for anybody to come to terms with. So we do see him snap with all this is my house. That is such... It's sentence-wise, to me, that's a very overtly masculine thing to say. It's the very, I'm the man of the house, these are my rules, you abide by them or you get out. Even though he didn't say that, I know he didn't say that, but he did pull out the whole, this is my house. And then Ellie giving it back to him, she was like, no, it isn't, like, it's not your house, it's not my house, it was given to us, and it was given to us, not just you. You see Joel kind of have a moment of, oh, did I sound like my dad there? Like, you could see it in him. And you also saw it where, when he was in the bar giving the Lego to your man at the very beginning of the episode, the guy mentions, like, I was a cop back before all of this. You could see Joel just kind of look at him, and it's like you could see flashes of him seeing his father. I just think it's interesting that we were given so many flashbacks in terms of Ellie and Joel as a unit and stuff that was being filled in for them about their story, but so much of it was like unsaid about Joel. And do you know what? Something else that really got me as well was, I think it was after the first birthday scene that we got with Joel and Ellie. He says to her, you know, we should do this more often. And then he says it again later when they're on horseback going through the forest. He says the same thing. We should do this more often. And again, it's just like a sad dad thing to say, where it's like you have this awkward, out of touch guy trying to relate to his teenager. And he misses her. Even though they're together, he misses her. He's like, we should do this more. I want to spend more time with you. And I think he can fear, he fears the fact that he can feel her feel growing up. And that, like, if this were the regular world, what's the logistical, like, next step? You grow up, you get a little bit older, you go to college, you move out, you get your own group of friends, you get your own life. You come back and you visit your parents every now and again, but not as often as you would like. And I think Joel was already feeling that from the first birthday scene that we got with Ellie in this episode. Ellie absolutely annihilated me this episode as well. She really did, because Ellie, so far all season, right, there's been some choices made with her character that I'm like, I don't really get what we're going for here. I found it very interesting that during the flashbacks, she felt just like old Ellie. Younger Ellie, if you know what I mean. Old Ellie of the past. You could feel the childhood jump out of her. It was in her expressions. It was in how she spoke to Joel, how she spoke to people around her. Bella, the actor you are. Oh my God. But there's been some moments that I'm like, I don't really get what we're going with this. So where she kind of lashes out at Joel and the whole, I'm not your fucking kid, Joel. Again, they're on horseback. She wants to be seen as an equal. We're talking about going on a run. I think was it her 19th birthday? He came to her door and was like, let's do it. You can go on patrol. He gets a call, and the first, like, sniff of, oh, it's time for Ellie to go on patrol. He's like, no, go home. And she snaps at him, but it's not the fact that she snaps. I understand her frustration of, stop treating me like a fucking child. I'm growing up. I understand that. What I don't really get is her use of words like, I'm not your fucking kid, Joel. I don't think that's fair for her to say, given the fact you have been for the past, 6 years? You have been. He has taken you in and adopted you and tried his best. I understand wanting to pull him back into line maybe a little bit and to be like, dude, stop it. I'm growing up, relax. But at the same time, I do understand the death grip that he has on her and this overprotective bubble, because we saw it. She asked to go on patrol. I think it was around her 16th birthday. And she was like, her argument was like, well, Jesse started on his 16th. And Joel was like, no, like, just be a kid a little longer. You see him wanting to protect and preserve what's left of her childhood. You're fighting a losing battle there, man, because after the events of season 1, after what Ellie went through in season 1, she must feel 165 inside. I would. Alright, we have to talk about the Eugene thing. We have to talk about the Eugene thing out in the forest, okay? So we come across Eugene, he's bitten the tit. It's curtains for him, he's dying. We all understand that. Even though I kind of don't understand that. We're going to backpedal. Why is everybody so quick to just anybody who gets infected, right? When the possibility of a cure exists. Okay, let's narrow that. Joel. Let's just take Joel, for example, because as far as we know, he's the only one, him and Ellie are the only ones that know about the possibility of a cure. Joel, like, just mows through people when they're bitten. Now, again, you can relate that to the fact he's protecting who he loves and what he loves. If you're a danger, you gotta be put down to Joel. But, like, we never see him contemplate, could someone else be immune? Could someone else be the key to a cure? You don't know. If Ellie is immune, she's not the only one in the universe that's immune. No fucking way. And if we're going back to, like, the origin story of how and why she's immune, it's because her mother was bit while she was in labour with her, right? So because of that, some liquids or gooey shit was transferred to Ellie in utero through her little tubing system. So when she popped out, she was immune. There's no fucking way. She is the only person in the entire world that happened to. It has to have happened more than once. It has to have happened before her or after her. So I do wonder why Joel isn't more cautious of that. Now, I know Eugene was a bit old. Sorry, like, but he was a bit old. So there's no way he would have been born immune. But it's interesting that it's never taken into consideration with Joel. Anyway, yeah, Eugene, he could have let him walk back. He could have let him go see Gail. We even see Ellie be like, what the fuck, dude? Let him go see Gail. He has time. I made him do the count and hunt thing. There's time. I understand why he'd take no chances. Maybe he's trying to teach Ellie as well, you'd take no chances, because Ellie is very much the I'm immune club, which in her head makes her invincible. I don't know how many times we've seen her pull out the whole I'm immune, I'll go. And it's like, girl, you're immune. You're not indestructible. You can still have your breathing tubes ripped out by people. Your pipes could be bitten out by the clickers. But the scene with Eugene really showed me just how quick, fast and ruthless Joel can be, because we see a slightly softer side of him when he, like, tells Ellie, okay, yeah, we'll arrange that. Go get the horses, we'll arrange that. He's lying to her. And he switches so fast with Eugene when he brings him down to the waterfront. just before he kills him. First of all, how kind of you to give him a pretty view before he dies. The thing about Joel, I really do think that, yes, he's a member of the community. He's a member of the town. But he does not care about anybody as much as he cares about his family. He'll be a member of community, he'll contribute to society, but his family is number one. And I think it's part like the realist in him and part I'm protecting what I love in him. That he's just like, alright, you're bit, there's no fucking way I'm bringing you back. It's going to be hard on Gail, the one who's going to be left behind. I'm just going to kill you here, get it over and done with, and I'll feed Gail the story that'll make her feel better. Ellie stays safe. We all win, except for poor Eugene, who in fact dies alone and afraid. One thing I really liked from Eugene, and it's one of my favourite things all season, was when Joel was like, you know, she knew she loved you or something along those lines, and Eugene was like, I need to hear her last words. I'm scared. You see this dude. And you don't hear that often, do you? Whenever anyone's dying in a show or a film, they're always like, I have to tell person A that I love them. I need to tell them. Will you tell them for me? You don't see the flip side of them being like, fuck that. They know I love them. I need to hear their last words. I need to see their face before I leave this world. And I just thought that was really, really beautiful. Yeah, but him telling Gail that whole story of like, yeah, he was strong at the end. He did it himself. He wasn't even scared. He was so brave. He was trying to be softer on Gail to make it a little bit easier for her. I really, really liked what he said to Eugene as well, jumping back. We're jumping all around the place. You gotta jump on this pogo stick with me and hold on, because my train of thought is just meandering. I really liked what he said about when you love someone, you can always see their face. Bringing it back to Sarah and his fear of like forgetting Sarah. I still don't really understand the whole plan with killing Eugene. He knew that Ellie was going to find out. What was your plan? What was the plan? I get him trying to like explain it away to Ellie, but like you're just like, yeah, go off over there for a second. Go look at that tree. Isn't it lovely? Go look at it. I'm going to get Eugene ready. The poorly executed plan. Now, to be fair to him, he didn't have a whole lot of time to think or plan about it, so okay, fair enough. But the thing that really just kicked me in the crotch and my failings was that I had no choice line. He says that to Ellie on horseback when we're leaving, and it's there's so many things you could pull from that, because Eugene is currently on the sled of death. They're dragging him along behind the horse, dead behind them. He's talking to Ellie, I had no choice, while there's a corpse just hanging off the back of your horse. I remember making the point that when Joel died, we dragged him back to town on like a weird sleigh on a sled thing. And I was like, why are you just dragging his body along the ground behind you? He should be sitting up behind you or beside you. Beside you on a horse. Can you sit side by side on a horse? So I just think it's an interesting visual parallel, but also that I had no choice falling out of his mouth. You did have a choice, but that's how he rationalises it with himself. So him just like verbalising that and extending that to Ellie, like, you know I had to do that, right? Like, I couldn't do anything else. What could I do? Not kill him? I had to do it. And Ellie's like, motherfucker. You motherfucker. That being said, I don't know how I feel about her outing Joel to Gail. I don't know how I feel about her telling Gail, like, that's not what happened. This motherfucker killed him. I don't know what I feel about that, because I'm like, you should have... There was specifically a line earlier in the episode where Joel says, do you remember what I told you? And Ellie says, I have your back, you have mine. Didn't have his back all that much when you were hanging him out to dry. You hung him up on the washing line and just told on him. Now, yeah, she didn't want Gail to be blindsided the way she was. She didn't want Gail to be lied to the way she was and live the rest of her life as in the dark and unaware as Ellie was for like so long, I suppose. But like, I don't know. I get not wanting Gail to live a lie, but, or, you know, all that. But I think it was honestly more... She wanted to get back at Joel. That's what solidified it for her. That moment in the forest where he was like, I had no choice. And the I promise line. Because that's exactly what he said to her on the mountainside when he was lying. And then we saw in the forest, she sees some like stray fireflies floating around the place. The bugs. Now, not the people. Would have been a very different episode if we had some of the people fireflies just floating around the place. So I think in that moment she pieced it together. And obviously she's known about this for a while. She's been piecing it together in her head. She's been building a case brick by brick. But that moment after Eugene, it was just solidified. Alright, so that is what happened. It's exactly what he said to me. He lied to me both times. Okay, fine, right? So to me, the whole Eugene thing where Ellie was telling Gail what really happened, it just felt a bit petty and spiteful, and it felt like I'm getting back at you. And that just kind of brings into question the argument of, is the truth better than being protected? Is knowing the harsh reality better than being protected from the truth? And it's not even being protected from the truth, because you still find out what happens both with the hospital situation and with the Eugene situation. The outcome is known, but how you got there isn't known. And I wonder, does knowing make it any easier? That's all I'm going to say. You can argue that out in the comments. I thought it was really lovely that we got to see the last moments between Tommy and Joel, because siblings are a big deal to me. I have a brother, myself, my brother. I love him. I love the fucking bones of him. We're very close. I feel like we didn't get to focus a whole lot on Tommy, the Tommy and Joel storyline. I mean, I guess we did, because a big part of season 1 was him trying to get to Jacksonville to find Tommy. But like, yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of time to see the two of them together. So seeing their last words to each other was really nice. It also probably is up there one of my favourite moments, in par with when Joel's body is brought back to Jackson. You have Tommy be the one to sit down and like clean his body. And that moment of stillness and quietness. It was really beautiful. But yeah, getting to hear their last words to each other, be I'll see you next year. Such a dad joke. At least Joel knew that Tommy was happy and settled in life, that he had a wife and a child who loved him, and his wife as well. Oh my God, that she pretty much initiates Joel into the family. We had a lot of moments between her and Joel this season, and I really liked them an awful lot. I think she understood Joel in like such a fundamental way, that the two of them just got each other, and the two of them knew we both love the one man just as much as each other. We both love Tommy. You love him as a brother. Obviously, I love him as a lover. So I love you. By proxy, I love you. So I just thought that was really beautiful. So her like telling him like a part of the family kind of deal at the table at the dance was really lovely. I really did like getting to see as well the brief few seconds in the lead up to him just knocking Seth's lights out. Because from Ellie's point of view, it did just look like Joel spawned in out of fucking nowhere. Slappy McGee coming in and just bing. I liked it. I liked it originally. But getting to see that close-up of his face where he's sitting down, having a talk with his family, and then you just see him, at the drip of homophobia in the distance, you see him just up and barreling towards your man. You can see the tunnel vision in his eyes. You can see the pure rage. He's blinded by love and the need to protect so much that I don't even think he realises what he's doing. He doesn't even think through the steps that he's about to take to knock a man's light out. Now, I agree, Joel Miller, you sexy little bitch. Absolutely, you should knock homophobia's ass right out from under it whenever you can. But I think it's interesting that it shows that Joel's biggest flaw is love. And people argue this. I know this is a very Joel-centred episode. This right here, the chat. We'll get on to Ellie and some other characters in a minute. But it was a Joel-centred episode. And there was so much like info dumped on us about him. Ellie makes the point later on in the episode that he's selfish. And it brings me back to, I remember hearing once the sentence that loving somebody is the most selfish thing that you can do. And I remember fighting back against it and being like, that's not true. Like, love is the most selfless thing. You would do anything for somebody that you love. You would be anything for somebody that you love. Okay, but why? Because you love them. Because you want to make them happy. You want to protect them. You like how they make you feel. You like how you feel when you're around them. It is a selfish act, and he loves Ellie because he sees her as a daughter. He sees her as like, she's a great person, individual of Joel. I think he sees she's a great person. She is a lovely, loving person, and she deserves the fucking world. How dare someone be mean to her? But that, yeah, anyway, that moment, I really liked getting to see him knock Seth's fucking head in again. But I really do think, it's just interesting the way she lashes out at him as she does. She's completely within her right, because she's just having this magical moment, having a first kiss with someone that she has the hots for. It's magical for her, and then from her point of view, she sees her overbearing dad just rush into the frame and fuck everything up. Because she didn't really have the context behind it, I guess. And I understand why you would be mad. Like, let me fight my own battle. Stop babying me. But I still think it was what she said was harsh. Yeah, so bringing it then to the porch scene. I loved it. Now, I've seen a lot of discussion about this moment, okay? A lot of people were split, surprisingly. I think this is probably one of my favourite scenes in television history. I've rewatched it 5 or 6 times since it aired. I can't fucking fault it. A really big thing for me in terms of actors is you have got to be expressive. I love an overly expressive person with their face. Dialogue is very important, don't get me wrong. But if you are a wooden actor or you cannot utilise your face, you lose me. Not that you would care. Who the fuck am I? I'm a little nobody, I'm aware. But I have to be invested in the person, in the faces they make, in their body language. And there's not a lot of actors that can act with their body. The two of them together, Pedro and Bella, sweet mother of Christ. Joel barely spoke in this scene. And I actually found the most impactful moments the parts where he didn't talk. He's fighting for his life, trying to keep the fucking tears in because he knows, or he thinks at the time, yeah, I'm losing her. This is my worst fear. My absolute number one worst fear in the world is that she'd turn her back on me. She's doing it. It's happening. Be cool. You can see the fear pop out in him. Not that she's mad at him, not that she knows, but that he might lose her. And it's a childlike fear. You can see it completely take over his expression. You can see it take over his features. Usually, if you have a secret from somebody, and if they find out the secret, your go-to, I don't keep secrets, by the way. I am useless at keeping secrets. Usually when you're keeping a secret for somebody, when they find out, your first thing is, fuck damage control. Damage control, we gotta go damage control. You apologise. You, some toxic as shit people would gaslight. You just try and smooth it over, try and apologise. Try and make things better. Own up to your mistake. I'm sorry, I should not have lied to you. Joel doesn't do that. He just goes into pure shutdown like a little boy. Like he can't even think. You can see it in him. It's the way he cries too. Pedro, oh, you beautiful. And it's the same thing with Ellie. You can see Ellie's doing most of the talking in the scene. And it just takes over her features completely. But yeah, that you're such an asshole. That line fucking hurt, man. Especially because Joel doesn't care about anybody else except for her. He had to learn to be cold and not cold, but protected. And self-sufficient. And guarded from a very young age. If you're someone who's very guarded and very private and independent and hyper independent to the point where I don't need anybody, I don't want anyone in my life, people hold me down. When you do meet somebody that makes you weak, when you do meet someone that you love, it's fucking scary. And your number one priority becomes holding on to him. And her opinion holds an awful lot of weight in his mind, I think. But yeah, the shame and the fear that we see on his face. I gotta bring it up though. She asks him, could they have made a cure, right? And he nods. He didn't know that they could have. It wasn't a certain thing. We haven't seen solid, hardcore proof. It's a possibility. Yeah. She probably would have died in the fucking trial stage. In my opinion, it more than likely would have furthered the progress of making a cure. But it's step one in making the cure. They wouldn't have just been able to extract it from Ellie's brain and boom, we have a cure, we're all safe now. She would have been the first in a long line of, not exhibitions, what's the word? Experiments. She would have been the first in a long line of those. I don't know. There was no solid proof that we could have made a cure. And I'm pretty sure if you go back to season 1, episode 1, don't they explicitly say, the two old men, the scientists, sitting kikiing on the couch, don't they both say yeah, humanity will be fucked. There is no cure. Am I crazy or isn't that explicitly said in season 1? Anyway, circling back to your selfish point, I have some bullet points written down from things that he said. You're gonna turn away from me and do it all over again. And then she says, because you're selfish. And it's the way he says, because I love you. Now, I've seen people be split over this, shockingly, because, yeah, he doesn't say that in the game. It's very much an unspoken thing, and it stays very true to Joel's character that, he's strong, he doesn't talk about his feelings all that much. He would have never admitted I loved you to Ellie. Okay, well, maybe that just sucks donkey bollocks. Maybe it's nice to see a strong, independent character who is inherently flawed admit their feelings, show a vulnerable side to them, say the scary thing out loud, say I love you. Those 3 words from him, hearing them that one time in the show, I believed them, I think, more than I have ever heard them say in a TV show. The impact that they had was fucking crazy on me as a viewer. And I like that he doesn't even argue with her when she was like, because you're selfish. He doesn't go no, I'm not. You don't understand. You weren't really there. You were unconscious on the operating table. You don't get it. He didn't try any of that. His answer was just, I love you. And then he echoes what his father said to him at the beginning of the episode with the whole I... that if you have one of your own, I hope you do a better job than me. It's funny that in that moment, I think he understood what his father was saying to him. And I think he saw a bit of himself in his father. Not in terms of he's abusive. Is he overbearing? Yeah. Is he annoying at times? I'm sorry, I love you, Joel, but yeah. He's not abusive. I think with every generation, your goal is just, I'm going to be better than my parents were. I'm going to be better than the generation before me, than the people who raised me. And you try so hard, but you still fuck up at points. You are not perfect because you are human. You're not written by writers. I know Joel is, but you know what I mean? You're going to fail. You're going to fucking flop and fall on your face and break your teeth in, metaphorically. Or literally if you're me. I jumped off a sofa once when I was a child and I cracked my tooth in half. I never did make much sense. most people's goal is just to be better than what came before you, be better than what you were raised with. And I think in his eyes, he viewed himself as a failure. He was like, I hope you do a better fucking job than me. It's interesting to see that. It really is. He was the opposite of his dad in the way there was too much love. He was too overbearing. He was too protective. He tried too hard. You know what I mean? When she says to him, I don't think I can forgive you for this. The way he closes his eyes after that, where it's like, there it is. There's the other boot dropping. I was right. I knew it. I could feel this coming. It was there. It was on the horizon. I could sniff it. And here it is. I'm now alone. But it's the way he looks at her when she goes, but I'd like to try. The hope and the shock and the fact that we're going to fix our relationship, that the worst thing that could have happened. It's out in the open. She knows. But we're going to get to fix this. Now, from Ellie's point of view, Ellie's been living with this knowledge for years. She's been piecing this together for years. Again, people had a bit of a problem in terms of the game and feeling that it was just shown to you as opposed to in the game. I think in the game, was it an audio log or like a videotape or something? That's how we end up finding out in the game. I like how it was done in the show. I like that she pieced it together. People are like, it's unrealistic. And it's like, alright, but maybe one, it's a make-believe show. And two, maybe she's just fucking smart. Maybe she just had a feeling. You ever get a gut feeling when you're talking to someone? This cunt is lying to me. She had that feeling on the side of the mountain at the end of season 1. That's why she asked him to begin with. This isn't something she plucked out of thin air in this episode. She's been living and simmering with this feeling in her for fucking years. And then everything just happened to fall into place in this episode to solidify what she already knew. I like that she got to air out her feelings with him. I like that she got to tell him exactly what the fuck was up. And she got to air out her frustrations with him. Everything that she's been keeping in and whispering to herself in her room during the practice trial runs of the speech. Bella knocked it out of this park, out of this park, out of your park, out of any park, this scene, this episode. Yeah, her going after Abby, knowing what she knows, right? She knew Joel was in the wrong. She's mad at him. Like, good God, this motherfucker killed everyone for me, lied to me. What the fuck? Her still choosing to go after Abby, knowing what she knows, that is fucking loyalty. And people argue, revenge is a cycle. I am aware. But I, much like Joel, maybe not to his extent, I am someone who is blinded by love, and I'm somebody who is loyal to the point of, like, self-destruction sometimes. I know that. At least I'm self-aware. I appreciate that in a character. I really do. I appreciate that in a character. And I think Tommy was more on point than he knew when he told Ellie a few episodes ago, like, you and Joel are more alike than you know. You're the same fucking person. And we also got that reiterated from Gail as well when Tommy went to talk to Gail, that it's like it's a nature versus nurture thing. You can only learn so much from someone. It depends on what's in you as well. And I think you're drawn to people that kind of remind you of you in a way. And Joel and Ellie are just the same person in different fonts at different life stages. And I don't know. I just absolutely love it. I love it. I also have down here that him saying I love you instead of acts of service. We've seen it throughout the whole show. Joel's thing is he will do things for you to show you that he loves you. He's an acts of service kind of motherfucker. Particularly with the guitars this season. We got a lot of shots of him with music. We got to see him carving the guitar. And you see the doubt and I don't want to say shame, but the embarrassment when he looks at Ellie's tattoo. And he's like, oh, it's like your drawings. It's better than the one on your guitar. It's like, oh, like somebody else noticed. Do you know what I mean? Not like someone else noticed that you love, but like noticed something that you love, but someone else gave you something similar to me, but it was cooler, it was better, this is something you wanted. He's very much an acts of service kind of person, do things to help you, to show you that he loves you, but like, I absolutely adored this episode. I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, what I was going to make of the whole, like, all of the flashbacks rammed into one episode, but I do like how they did it. I like that it didn't feel like flashbacks, it just felt like you were being brought into the past by the hand. Do you know the way sometimes with flashbacks, they can be rammed into scenes jarringly. We didn't get that this time around, so it felt a lot more cohesive. We felt that a sense of like it sits into the story. It's filling in gaps for us. That's the purpose of this. It didn't feel like a filler. But it really did make me sad that like that's probably going to be it for seeing them together on screen. And they were so incredible together. And I said it in my reaction video and I'll say it again. I know I love Pedro. I do. But he's not talked about enough for his acting capabilities. Everyone else brings up like how pretty he is. Well, yes, duh, motherfucker, I have eyes. But I don't think it's talked enough about how talented he is. And again, I said this in my reaction video. He's been at this for how fucking long? A long ass time. I recently saw an episode of Buffy the Vampire fucking Slayer, and he was in it. Little baby fetus Pedro Pascal. He's been acting for years. It's shocking to me that it's taken this long for people to catch on and to start loving him. Yeah, and Bella absolutely killed it this episode as well. It's strange seeing two actors be so like powerful at what they do at complete different stages of their life. Bella is shocking in the way of like, you're so fucking young and you are capable of making people cry with your art. And it's the same thing with Pedro. Pedro, to me, it feels like, dude, you came out of nowhere a few years back. I think I started like really like hardcore loving him back in like 2018 or 2019. Even though I did like him as Oberyn and I had followed his career like throughout the years. I wasn't like hardcore like, I love you, until like 2018 or 19. It felt like he came out of nowhere to me. But then, you know, you go back and you stalk his entire back catalogue of films and movies and guest stars and music videos, because oh yes, he's in a music video also. He's in a music video. He's rolling around the place so gorgeous. What was I saying? It's just interesting that they were both kind of gifted to the world at around the same time through the same project. Even though, yeah, I know Bella's been in a bunch of other projects before this, as is Pedro. I know. But it's just lightning in a bottle, and I really do hope that they sweep at award season, because let me tell you, as a lifelong stan of The Walking Dead, okay, that show has been overlooked and underappreciated since the beginning of time. You just know at the award shows, well, The Walking Dead is definitely not even going to fucking be there. Their name isn't even going to be mentioned in the nomination categories. I don't know what people have a problem with horror, and particularly zombie shit up at the award shows, but they need to, like, take out their fucking eyes and give them a wash. If the same thing happens with The Last of Us that happened with The Walking Dead, I am just going to fist fight. I'm just going to start fist fighting people I see that might look like they're reviewers. Mentally, I'll fist fight them mentally. I'm not actually a violent person. I'm a pussy behind it all. I really hope that they are awarded and appreciated for what they've brought to the table with this season and with season 1 as well. It's been great. It's been amazing. Wow. I'm feeling Joel's absence, and I'm feeling them trying to change the tone of the show. We felt it with Dina and with Ellie, and Ellie has made some choices this season that have me like, yeah, I understand why that would be viewed as like odd. You know, she's out here traipsing through the wilderness with Dina, with my girlfriend, and the I'm going to be a dad thing. Okay, I understand that it seems a bit too lighthearted at points, but she's gripping onto the one thing that makes her happy. And she's finding a bit of happiness in the fucked up of it all. And I don't see anything fucking wrong with that. Let her alone. Let her live her life. She's on a murder mission. She's gearing herself up to go annihilate people. She wants to get freaky with her love and talk about becoming a fucking parent. Let her. In the same vein, I do understand that a lot of people feel like she should be angrier than she is. She should be more vicious than she is. Yes, I get that. We saw it when she was killing... The name escapes me. You guys know the exact scene I'm on about. She clearly went to the Negan School of Lucieling, much like Abby did, because we saw her absolutely lay into her with that bit of copper pipe. So I just feel like they've changed some things about her character in the show. Some of it's working, some of it's falling a little bit flat, but I think Bella is just handling it all amazingly, and I'm here, I'm strapped in, I'm emotionally invested. I can't believe I've been talking for 45 minutes about a single episode of TV, and I didn't even say half of what I wanted to say, but I'm hot and I'm sweaty and I'm starting to get dizzy. It's funny, I was just editing that clip. This 50-minute fucking monologue. I was just editing this video, and it just, I don't know, I do love Joel an awful lot, but there is something about his character that just makes me feel like seen. And I struggle sometimes to differentiate, is it because I see myself in you, or is it because you are the style of person that I value? Do you know what I mean? Like, Joel as a character is so everything that I like. Now again, I always have to say that and back it up with the fact that, yeah, what he did was wrong. I know. I'm not saying Abby's in the wrong. They both are, actually. Joel probably shouldn't have done what he did. Abby shouldn't have done what she did. But they both did it for love. They both did it for, well, Abby did it for love, rage and revenge, and Joel killed everyone in that room for Ellie, for love. And again, I think that brings into play that little blindsided by love, blindsided by your feelings, tunnel vision of, oh, I just have to save her, and you go into Terminator mode. And I honestly, I loved Joel in the games, but seeing him in the show has brought a weird new facet to him that, like, he might be one of my favourite characters ever, of all time. Which is weird, because I don't get connected to characters that much. And I don't think I've felt like an appreciation for a character like this since, I don't know, probably Daryl from The Walking Dead. That's why it's 80% of why I love him so much too. There's such similar characteristics and similar strains in both of them. But if we're talking about Joel, it's in the unsaid, it's in the mannerisms, it's in the acts of service that he does for people. It's in the simple, are you happy that I do good? And then he turns away and he's fucking crying because he made someone he loves happy. I can't put into words how much I appreciate that in a character. I don't know if I would have loved him the way I do if he'd been portrayed by someone else, because there is something so warm and vulnerable about Pedro, and that's why I love him as an actor. He brings that special little flair to most projects, if not all projects that he does. And it's such a special situation. That's my take on that. And it's kind of similar for Bella. I haven't seen Bella in as many projects. Ellie has that childlike wonder mixed with grappling to be independent and to grow up and to, I don't need anybody, but you do. And she sees that she does. That Ellie as a character is like the younger, more inexperienced version of Joel. Jesus, I love them. I love them. What did you think, lads? I thought that it would be a good idea to just kind of sit and yap. Just talk about stuff and see what we all make of what happened. And I love going through the comment section and getting different people's takes. It's been very interesting watching the gamers' perception of this, because I'm someone I've played the games. Whenever you adapt something with an IP that's like as beloved as this, you're running the risk of pissing some people off. It's gonna happen. People want it to be just like the game, beat by beat. If you do that, because a game is a fucking video game, if you do that, you are gonna get, this is unrealistic, this feels fucking fake. And it's like, well, yeah. If you take creative liberties and you change up things, that's not how it was in the game. So, like, no matter what you do, you can't win. I understand that. The majority of gamers, from what I've seen, have liked it. They've been enjoying it so far. But I have seen, like, a pretty big section of the gamerverse be like, oh, this is unwatchable. I can't watch this. Alright, then go play the fucking game. Do you know the amount of books, the amount of games, the amount of things I've loved that have been adapted for screen that I have not liked? And I just simply do not interact. DNI. Like, it's okay to give your opinion and be like, yeah, I don't like it. But people make it their full-time career, like they're getting paid, which they probably are if they're in the creator fund on TikTok, to just, like, shit talk something they don't like. And, like, I like hearing negative views. I like listening to negative takes, because I'm like, I didn't think of most of the stuff that you would have brought up, because I don't have that outlook on the show. But wow, you've given me shit to think about, and I agree with certain points that you said, but it gets to a point that it's like, nobody hates a project more than diehard fans of the thing. And it blows me away that you see it not just with this neither, you see it time and time again with fandoms. But yeah, that's just my take on this episode in particular, on some of the stuff that we saw for this episode in particular. Let me know your thoughts. Where do you think we're going? We have the fucking finale next week. I can't believe we're ending it already. Season 1 felt a lot longer, and I think it was only 2 episodes longer. Now, I do know we're getting to season 3. Apparently it's been confirmed, and there was rumours of a season 4. And I'm like, that's, it's interesting. It's interesting that we're already looking that far to the future. I am going to hold off my opinion. I personally see us ending the season with a cliffhanger. I see them cliffhangering us in a similar enough but more dramatic way than they did for season 1. That's how I see it ending. But what do you guys think? What do you hope to see from the finale? What do you think of this episode? Please, will someone just fucking talk to me about this episode? But yeah, that's it, lads. My Twitter, my Instagram, my band's Instagram, my Terrian, everything's linked down below. Go have a gander. Follow me elsewhere if you want to, and if you don't, that's fine. I don't really give a shit. Fair enough. I'm a bland person at times. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon.